Hello. This is the... Oh, I'm just going to do my little intro. Hi, this is the start of the recording. This is going up on YouTube. We're covering right now question 3 from the 2020 paper. We have previously gone over question 4 from the 2019 paper. This was not recorded. I do apologize. Anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, having to break out of that sort of thing there. Okay, so suppose the utility function is given by that. I'm assuming what it looks like there is that does look like the partial derivatives. So you've got the partial derivatives of the u function there is going to be, du dx is going to be 1. And then you've got the partial derivative as, 2 over y, y over 2. Y over 2? No, 2 over y. Yeah. So that's essentially what you get there. And so to find the derivative overall, you do minus the partial derivative of x divided by the partial derivative of y. And then you get minus 1. Yeah. No, wait, no, it's the absolute value. Pardon me. How come the signs disappear? The signs? The signs? I don't know, aliens involved in this, what? The signs disappear. One, never mind. So 1, oh, there's more chats. Plus or minus, because you take the, yeah. Thank you, Rochelle. Doing my job. Okay, so it's 1 divided by 2 over y, which just makes it y over 2. It's true there. Hopefully that was clear. Okay. The consumption of y is independent of income, such as long as income is twice the relative price. I think I remember having a proof for this. Consumption of y is independent of income, so long as the income is twice the relative price of y. Okay. We'd probably have to do a... What is that? Yeah, okay, so let's form a budget constraint. So px x plus py y is equal to income, which I'm just going to represent as big I. So the... Yeah, hold on, let me think about this. Yeah, so the MRS is y over 2. Okay, and so we're going to match, essentially, that kind of stuff. I'm just going to rearrange it for a y equals mx plus c sort of setup. So you'll get, so minus px over py x plus I over py. I think that's correct. Yeah. Ooh. Somebody's the stuff. Just stuff happening on the chat. Anyway, but yeah, you're going to see here that the gradient is negative px over py, which is equivalent to y over 2. Cross multiplying, you would get that y is equal to negative px over py. So, sorry, I should probably do absolute value there, shouldn't I? It was absolute value. Technically, it would be, it technically is negative y over 2, because, God, I hate this. So when talking about MRS, we like to take absolute value just to make things easier to think about. It's basically a convention to speak about it. It's not a mathematical convention. So using absolute value is good for the moment, but it is not good for mathematical calculations, which is why I put in the negative y over 2 here, and not y over 2 like we previously had. What this basically gives you is y is equal to 2px over py, and therefore it is correct, because as long as income is at least twice the relative price, that is... Wait. Yeah? What? But, yeah. That sort of makes sense.
Wait, Louis?
Yeah?
How did you go from the y equals minus px over pyx plus I over py line to the line right below it? How did you get rid of big I?
Sorry, I completely blanked out. What? Sorry?
So how did you get rid of the big I in the equation?
Oh, I just didn't consider that. One moment. Yeah, so multiple choice for y is feasible. Well, I just took the derivative of this equation, so the I wasn't relevant in it.
Right.
You need to find the optimal choice of y rather. Yeah, you're just taking I as a constant, as Thomas is mentioning in the chat. I love it, just like, it's all like multiple people and they're all just silently watching me. Just like, hi everybody. It's all very fun. Yeah, part C as well. Yes, so the consumption of X is independent of income so long as Py over 2X. Oh, so many chat messages. Why it tells us it's independent. So it's independent because it's forming a similar thing. Well, it looks similar to Cobb Douglas, but it's not quite hitting it, is it? So the optimal choice of Y is that consumption of X is independent of income so long as income is at least independent. So it's not. See, the thing is, because it's not a Cobb Douglas, it's not independent. But isn't that the thing for, like, what the... Sorry, one moment here. So going back to the budget constraint, what happens if I sub, like, my... This is insane. To be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely sure how to do this, but I'm gonna try. Okay? So the consumption of X is independent of income so long as income is at least... Okay, so testing, if income is Py over 2X... Okay, so consumption of X is independent of income. So if I is above the Py 2px, then you would say that X is... Oh, okay. I think I'm understanding. What this is essentially saying is... Wait, no, that can't be right. It's the reciprocal of that. Oh my god. Oh, I'm losing the plot. Who suggested that? Let me just check here. Yeah, Arseny. Did you come up with an explanation for this? Yeah. Ah, here we go. Oh, Thomas is coming in. Oh my god, this... Hold on. If income is at least big enough to attain this, it will be independent. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Well, we can think about, like, the optimal choice thing here. So optimal choice of Y is that. So the Y, but it says optimal choice of Y is there. This is very... Is that feasible? Right. But surely that would be optimal choice of X, because then you move maximizing X in that scenario, because you're taking away from I the Y value, and then you're essentially getting the X value there, so is that the optimal choice instead? It's because it just sort of cancels out. I do apologise.
But can you hear me?
Oh yeah, hello.
So I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's saying that y is equal to 2px over py, and therefore what we've done is we found the maximum of what that can be. That is a maximum point, and if the income is at least big enough to get there, there's no point spending more money because you're not going to get any more utility by consuming any more of y.
So you're saying they're allocating their entire remaining income to X?
Yes, because
but then why does? But then could you possibly explain to me why it says optimal choice of Y is that?
Wait, where does it say that?
Bottom of C.
So, optimal choice of Y is 1 minus... Is that an I or a 1?
It looks like I.
Yeah. I think that's saying that they spend all of their income, so therefore they must spend the remainder on X.
Yeah, but then it says Y. To be honest, the question, the mark scheme may have just fucked up. I mean, this happens quite often. So,
yeah, I'm sorry, I can't...
Yep, it might be a typo. Who fucking knows, right? This is great. Oh, we love these reliable mark schemes, don't we, guys? This is great. Ah, fuck me. Okay, let's... Wait, this is going on YouTube, isn't it? I can't say these words. Anyway, anybody else got some suggestions? There was a... Oh, that was a maths question, wasn't it? Yes. Oh, wait, hold on. I have people texting me. I'm so popular. Anyway. Fuck, that sounded so narcissistic. Anyway. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, so... Anybody else with questions and stuff? Just trying to unlock my phone now. I mean, we can continue just through regular questions in here. Oh, there was like questions in here that people had trouble with. Any of these? Shout if you see them. I mean, literally shout. I mean, you are voice enabled, right? This one was actually, yeah, so this one was kind of like a bit weird, wasn't it? 11? Should we cover 11? Why not? That'll be fun. Yay! Somebody... Okay, I've got one person saying it's good. I'm going to take that and run with it. Okay, so with 11, first things first. A monopolistic company faces a demand of Q is equal to 10 minus 2p, and the cost of production is 2Q. Which of the following statements are true? Yeah, so the major thing is that marginal revenue is essentially the derivative of, your actual revenue, and revenue is calculated by quantity times, your price, right? Yeah, price. What was it? Yeah. So it was, as far as I could tell from what they were showing me. Yeah. So it was. Yeah. It is quantity times price. So price can be found just by rearranging the first function there. So we essentially want everything in terms of Q. So we've got 10. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. We've got negative 2p is equal to Q minus 10. So therefore P is just going to be equal to negative a half of Q plus 5. So revenue is going to be P times Q, which makes it half of Q plus 5 times Q, which gives you negative a half Q squared plus 5Q. And then if you derive this, so dq, you will get 5 minus Q. Is that cool? A is correct, yes. Maybe I should count up the... Yeah, this is a bit more of an easier one to look at. Yeah. So you've got marginal revenue there, minus 5 minus Q. Now this is where everything just like stops because it's not true from here. The quantity that maximizes profits is lower if average costs increase by adding a fixed cost. How do I put this? No, because, yeah, so profit maximization depends on marginal, not average cost. It doesn't, you can't maximize profits if you're increasing your average costs, because that's also going to bump up your marginal costs. You guys remember that when, what am I saying? Average costs, not actual costs. So we have average costs, the AC curve, and then the MC, which is going to sort of hit at the lower point. If you had a fixed cost, sure, like average costs are going to go up. It's going to be like that. But the marginal cost is going to go up as well because you're increasing like your costs marginally as well. So it's not going to change your level of production, if that sort of makes sense. At least that's how I sort of thought about it. But then again, you just outright say that marginal costs are the only thing that affects it. And it says here the optimal price for the firm is 3. And so it says that. So optimal price for the firm is 3. Well, that would demand a quantity of 10 minus 6, again, which is just 4. And your marginal costs, your marginal revenue, no, I forget. So for your production to be efficient, your marginal revenue essentially has to equal 0. And so if it doesn't equal 0, then you're not producing the right amount. Marginal revenue, as we said, was dictated by 5 minus Q. So we would expect that, marginal revenue would be 0 at Q is equal to 5. But here Q is equal to 4, so it doesn't work. There's another way for it there. You've got quantity and price not really matching. But
sorry,
that's...
Sorry, may I ask how you did the 5 minus Q from the previous step? Is that the differentiation?
Yes. Sorry, let me move back. Yes, so you isolate P on the left-hand side, and you get a equation for P in terms of Q. Then it's P times Q to represent revenue. So you've got this equation over here. And then you derive it, and you can get the marginal revenue. Is that all right?
Is dp dp with dk? Sorry, that's all right. I think.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat yourself?
No, I think that it's dp derivative dq, right?
Oh, yeah, well, dp dq, I could write it as dp dq, or I could write it as ddq. It wouldn't matter either way. It's just representing a derivative, deriving by q.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just noticed that everyone, I thought when optimal price occurred when MR equals MC. I mean, yeah, it does, but you don't have like marginal cost to it. I mean, like you have summing back into the equation P equals 3.5. Yeah, I mean, like, oh yeah, you can. Yeah. So what did it say? Cost of production. Do you mind explaining C again? Hey! Hello, Lou. You want to turn on your camera? Lou is one of the econ reps, everyone. So, respect her. Yeah. Hello! Yeah, you can get MC by deriving... Yeah, but that would expect that, like, marginal cost is 2, right? And if you're matching marginal revenue and marginal cost, then that's not really going to hit. Because then it's going to be equal to 2. So marginal revenue equal to 2 would mean... Yeah. Well, yeah. It's weird. Yeah, but that would demand a quantity. Yeah. Weird. I think... No, wait. I think there's different rules here. One market requires an MR equals MC. And another market requires MR equals 0. I think... because it's a monopoly. Okay? MC equals MR in a competitive one. In a monopoly, it's MR equals 0. There we go. Dear Lord. Just a notice to everyone, I might be... Zoom is, as always, very reputable. The remaining meeting time is 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So I'm just going to quickly do a quick question, and then we're going to cut off. And then if you guys could just rejoin, that would be great. Sorry for the inconvenience. It's just that I can't host a meeting with more than 2 people without setting off the timer. Yeah. So, this one was an arse. So, let's just quickly go through this. I'm going to annotate instead. Let me just clear that cap. Move! Okay. So what we're going to do is essentially explain through this. So you can see the sort of marginal social cost and marginal private cost curve here. What's notable to notice is that the efficient quantity to produce that is not the, as you can see up here, where price equals marginal private cost. So this is the profit maximizer, but it's not efficient. You've also got this one down here where there's no marginal social cost, but that's not efficient. You want to be producing where this line hits. You want where the price is impacting MSC, so it's 80. Okay, how many? I got like a minute. Okay, pardon me if I'm being quick. Oh god, it's going to stop saying a minute soon, isn't it? So it's also saying the nurse's minimal acceptable payment from the factory is to produce the efficient outcome is 3,200. How you calculate that value is okay. I think I've got this. Have I got this? I think I've got this. Yeah. So you can see. Okay. So let me just make a boundary here. This area is minimal acceptable payment. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear? I'm gonna not even wait for a response. This is minimal acceptable payment. Okay. Just know that. Then we want maximum factory is willing to pay. This is this entire area. Okay. Those are the 2 main things you need to know. Max payment and minimum acceptable offer are the red and black areas accordingly. Okay, so you've got that triangle there, and you've got the red rhombus over there. Rhombus, parallelogram, whatever the fuck. But that's essentially it. Hi, Lou. So that's the main thing you kind of need to know. If you calculate this, oh god, it's moved. You will get that. Okay, I think I'm about to accidentally shut off, so I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay. All right. Okay. See you in a bit. Ah! I think I'm having a breakdown. All right, this is fun. View, admit all, share my screen. What an experience. Okay. That was like a stressful thing. There we go. Okay, now it's no longer repeating itself. All right. Sorry for the rush, guys. That was a bit of an experience. Oh, did I not turn off the waiting room? Oh, one moment. This is very annoying. Turn off the waiting room. Hooray! Okay. I think, yeah, the main thing with this question is that not many people know, like, the definitions of what it's asking for. So, like, what minimum acceptable payment is constituted by, or what the maximum you're willing to pay is constituted by. The logic behind this kind of goes like this. Oh, shit, I forgot to record. Was I recording this whole time? I have been recording this whole time. Hooray! Okay, never mind. We don't have to stop the recording. I can upload this in one long video. Hell yeah. Okay, so minimum acceptable payment is essentially constituted by this area. Now, the logic behind this is that this is the profit lost by not producing at the maximally profitable outcome. So the company that's producing whatever, what is it, hats, robots, shoes, can't remember. The company that's producing it here would do better off profit-wise if it was here. So it's essentially losing this sector of profit, okay? Therefore, if the nurses wanted to, offer a deal to reduce that, they would need to offer this segment of profit to actually persuade the company to take the deal. So this is essentially profit lost, which is, the bargaining here. Now, what was the other question?
Louis?
Oh, hello.
Hi, sorry, can I ask, can you scroll up a bit to the top of the question itself? The only thing, because look, at the bottom it says the local authority has now passed a law that ensures that the nurses have the right to undisturbed sleep.
Yeah.
So surely it should be like, it's the company paying the nurse. Does that make sense? Not the nurse. Like the company doesn't have the right to produce at NPC equals price.
Right. But we're also stating this within the context of private bargaining, because this question often mentions that the nurses are bargaining with the company as well, even though it's phrasing it in sort of like a lawmaker's perspective. I mean, chapter 11, 12, whatever it was, stated that Coasian bargaining or private bargaining can be used as a better way of regulating markets. So I assume that it could be that a local authority has stipulated it, but then maybe the company did not follow this instruction or something like that. I don't know. It is kind of a confusing one, but I think let's just go with the idea that they're privately bargaining, if that's all right.
Yeah, all right. Cheers.
Okay. Hey, chat messages. I love getting those. Surely the nurses now have the power, though, as they own the property rights. Perhaps. I don't think that entitles them to property rights. Like, the right to sleep nicely is not the same as, like, having rights over the property that causes you annoyance. Like, if that was right, I would have a private monopoly over British Rail. So, evidently not. So, let's talk about this rhombus down here just quickly. So, the important thing is to note that what this is. So, hold on, I've just realized I forgot to scroll down on that's going to move with me. How lovely. The maximum that the factory is willing to pay to increase the output to the efficient level is 12,800. Okay. So this is essentially saying that the company has been forced to work at the lowest marginal social cost, and it wants to move up to the efficient level. Okay? In order to do this, okay, it needs to pay a certain amount to continue to basically take away that sort of cost, if that makes sense. I honestly don't understand it, but this is the only really real solution that works for this. So it's basically the difference between the price that they're producing at and their private cost. So this is essentially what they get as revenue, in a sense. So they need to have at least this to start production up again. And so you would calculate this. You would see that it's 80 across and it's 240 up. 240 up? I think it's 240 up. Actually, it's better done by like a rhombus. So you've got 80 here, 240 here, 80 up. And then, as guys remember, maybe, is it a rhombus? Is it it's a trapezium. I swear, the more I learn about maths, the less maths terminology I know. It's like, oh, that thing, it's the thingy thing, you know? I can't remember all the words. But you get 12,800 at the end of this. Yeah. Anybody with other questions they want me to do? I literally have nothing to do. This is just preventing me from getting more stressed out. So anything works. I'll just wait. Or I can just do random questions, who cares? It's not really a study session at this point. It's pretty much just like me talking to myself. Let's just see. What else here? Very interesting questions. Nobody? Okay. This one was kind of interesting. Question 3. Oh, Thomas, you're back. This. Oh, substitution. I bloody hate that. Okay, so how do I phrase substitution and income effect? So how about this? Okay, so a substitution effect is essentially like if a price of one thing increases, how much am I now going to buy the other thing? So it's like if I have like two, what things did people usually buy? Loaves of bread, yeah. I normally do this, compare loaves of bread in my supermarket. If I have 2 loaves of bread, and one increases in price, I'm going to buy more of the other, because it's the substitution, essentially. Like, I'm not going to spend as much on this, so I spend that extra money on that. And that's basically the same thing. Income effect is essentially you get more money. Oh, wait, hold on. I've got a message. Here we go through graphs with different... so what happens when the consumer wishes it? Yeah, okay, sure. Gotcha. What the income effect essentially does is that the more income you have, the more you're essentially consuming. That's pretty much it. So substitution is sort of the switch around, and then income is sort of like if you've got more income, you're consuming more. So if the substitution effect is bigger than the income effect, then the price of one good one decreases, the consumption of good 2 decreases. So this essentially means that you're not gaining as much, like you're not having as much of an effect on income, basically pushing up your consumption, as substitution is reducing it. So your substitution is, yeah, as you can sort of see here, since the price of good 1 decreases, the substitution effect pushes 2 to consume less because income's not compensating for that. The change in consumption of good 1 due to a price increase of good 1 alone for a given level of utilities and effort. Yeah, I mean, what a detailed explanation. Definition. This is a great mark scheme. The change in consumption of good 1 due to a price increase of good 1 alone. Yeah. So essentially, if price increases for just good 1 alone for any given level of utility, it's just going to drop because like if any price increases, you generally consume less. And the consumption of a good, the price which increases can only increase. Can increase only if the income effect goes in the opposite direction of the substitution effect. That sort of works. Okay, so if the 2 effects sort of move in the opposite direction, that means they're sort of
You won't respond.
We got to get involved.
You have to do it on the tube with that.
Hello?
Doesn't reply soon enough to that for me.
Yusuf? Thank you. So, the consumption of a good... no, it's alright. So, imagine like income and substitution moving in opposite directions. So, substitution effect. If something gets cheaper and I have more income, I'm going to buy more of it. If it's like, you know, like the opposite direction, if something gets more expensive and my income has dropped, like I'm going to buy less of it. So if they're moving in opposite directions, it sort of means like that. This is a bit of a contradictory thing. Substitution effect is negative, so the only way for income effect to increase is also negative. Kind of would invalidate the point, so I think they meant positive here. Don't know. I may be an idiot. So, let me just address... Somebody's asked for... go through some graphs with different marginal costs and actual costs, and explains what happened if one of them changes, also in terms of consumer and producer surplus. Okay, so we're going to go over that thing, the thing I just said. How lovely of me. Let me actually take out my notes for this, and maybe remove that. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is just all my stuff. Years upon lovely notes. They're, like, to be honest, my page full of notes is just a bit long at this point, and it's not particularly organized, but it's just kind of like a big block. So it's not great, but it does its job. If I think about where that was, let me just do a search in it. Marginal cost. Just search for marginal cost over everything. I've got a lot of things in marginal cost. Competitive equilibria. If I want to see something that mentions average and marginal cost at the same time. I just forget which chapter it's in. Yeah. I hope you don't mind. Evelina, I hope you don't mind me like saying your name because you did direct message me. Which chapter is this in? Because I keep forgetting. Okay. Is it in... price tagging. Everyone doing this, it's sort of the intersection with the MC and the AC. So we've got that. As for what happens if one changes in terms of consumer and producer surplus. Okay. I mean, I could do like... Yeah, I could do like a general like demand thing as well, if that sort of works for you. Yeah. I guess I could just try drawing it out. So, Unit 7. Oh, okay, let me just check around Unit 7. Sorry if I'm going back and forth, everyone. It's just that I'm a bit disorganized today. Where is it? Setting price and quantity to maximize profit? Something here. Yeah, okay, I mean, like, that kind of works. So, sort of go over this. Alright, so talking about sort of producer and consumer surplus here, sort of works in how we sort of pick... no, that's the... I should probably do... Yeah, so we're going to do the demand curve there. Okay, and you've got isoprofit curves, which determine your production. And then you've got the marginal cost, which will go something like there. Okay, so assume we have like an isoprofit line around here. That is a terrible isoprofit line. I do apologize. There we go. And so the isoprofit line dictates that we should be producing at this bundle. So how producer and consumer surplus works is essentially we're taking this and we're taking the equilibrium. Okay, so the area here between the vertical down from the point and the equilibrium is calculated as deadweight loss. So this is essentially what we're losing out by producing at this value. Okay, then we sort of do a horizontal line here. This is consumer surplus. Okay, all the way up here. And then everything down from that is something. Thinking. I don't think it's that. Yeah, it's something like... Is it producer surplus? I think it might be producer surplus. But I feel skeptical to label this entire area as producer surplus because I don't think that's quite right. Oh, it is. Oh, well, I'm clearly better than I thought. So what happens here is you're essentially gaining as much producer surplus as you can from this point, and then you've got like small consumer surplus triangle in the top left, and then you've got the deadweight loss over here. Obviously, you're not producing at the Pareto optimal. Yeah, you're not producing at Pareto optimality because you're essentially producing at a lower quantity that would guarantee everyone gets what they want. But you're pretty much gaining a lot of surplus out of the deal, and you're gaining a high level of profit as well, which is always something people want for some reason. Money. Never understood it. Anyway, so hopefully that works. Average cost doesn't... Hold on, let me just check here. Average cost doesn't really come into play when it comes to sort of the profit maximization. It's mostly just marginal costs because you're calculating it on a case by case, like you're calculating it based on each unit of quantity, not the overall quantity, if that sort of makes sense. Yeah, I think that's clear. Is that all right? I don't know. I'm very skeptical of like my own ability. I'm just not entirely sure. Hopefully that's helpful. So let me just check the other stuff then. Whoa! Okay, that's just my game stuff. You saw nothing. All right. So, what else? People were concerned about the Nash Equilibrium, weren't they? Like this one, because it was like unclear. Do I need to explain this? Would you guys think that this would be a hard enough question that I did need to explain it to you? I don't know. I'm just gonna wait. Chill back here. I should have brought biscuits. Would be helpful. Yes, please. Hooray! People want it. Yay. Okay, so I'm kind of happy to explain Nash Equilibrium and game theory, because game theory is actually one of my favorite things. You know, I really, really like game theory. It's like my thing. It's cool. So, let's examine the first question. Rugby is a dominated strategy. So a dominated strategy essentially says that if you play this strategy, you will always end off better than other strategies. So let's think about that for a nil. So hold on, let me expand this to full screen, and then just like pick something here, just some drawing stuff. So a nil. Let's think about rugby. So the payoff they're getting for rugby is 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so it's not essentially a great payoff. If they play any other game, such as like football, I am assuming the first one is, yeah, Anil's payoff is the first entry. Is Anil the vertical ones and Bert the horizontal ones? Yes. I'm picking Anil's picks of football, and then I am doing Anil's one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? What? Sergey, you've disappeared again.
Yeah, sorry, I said, yeah, I think that Anil is the vertical one, is the column, and Bert is the row.
He's the column.
And then, like, in terms of football, rugby, cricket. And then the payoff.
He's the column, is he? Hold on. Anil's payoff is the first entry in each of the actions below. Why does it say Anil Bert? I'm so confused. Okay.
I don't think it matters that much.
No, I mean, it doesn't. No, not actually, but like, we'll just do it anyways. Okay, so anyway, I know he's the first entry at the very least. So 4-2-1, it wouldn't be better all the time that... Oh, I'm right, am I? Okay, then. Either way, a dominant strategy isn't achieved because you can see that you could even get a higher value on football. It is dominant to cricket, but it is not the dominant strategy, because for a dominant strategy to exist, it must be, every single time, it must be better. So that's sort of the deal. And in actuality, he's got 2-1-0 here, and that's not better all the time. Anyway, the football for both players is a Nash Equilibrium. This is true. Now, most people tell me that, well, they can get something better outside. Okay, thankfully, in this question, that problem isn't present, so people don't ask me it. But what a Nash Equilibrium is that you consider each person individually, and you consider what's available to them, okay? If they personally can benefit from moving, then they are not in a Nash Equilibrium. If they can gain no benefit from moving, then they are, okay? This is essentially like, it's sort of like you and your friend have like options, and if you have the option to be entirely selfish and do like the thing that suits you best, then you're not in a Nash Equilibrium. Whereas if all other options are worse, then you are. So let's look at it in the actual context of this question. At football, Anil's other possible payoffs are 2 for rugby and 3 for cricket, which are all lower than football. And then for Bert, such lovely names as well. For Bert, his possible payoffs are 0 and 2, which are, again, all worse. So nobody would move in this case. Nobody would change their strategies. Nobody would even care to do that because it doesn't benefit them in any way. So that's kind of how it ends. That's how it works. Rugby for both players is Nash Equilibrium. This is not true. Why? Well, it's quite simple. No, that's not rugby for both players. Well, the thing is, a nil can gain more from changing. There's an option of a 2 over here for him. And then Bert can gain more by changing. There's an option of a 3 over here for him. So that's not a Nash Equilibrium. Okay. Is that clear? All good? I hope it is. I want to check out some more difficult ones. Are there more difficult papers? Is the Nash Equilibrium here 5-3? Yes, that's what the question said, I believe. If I was with the question. Yes. So it says football for both players is a Nash Equilibrium. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go through this stuff. Oh, this one. This one was a interesting one. Yeah. Do you guys want me to do this? Because I think I saw quite a few questions around that one. Let's kick back. I like ramen here as well. It's really shitty ramen. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So to do this one, with consumer and producer surplus, it's really a sort of graphical method. So you're essentially calculating these areas individually. Just the doors going off. So this would be consumer surplus. So first of all, let's just label where everything is. We know that this is 400 because it's saying that marginal costs are 400 at output level 0. We know that at output level 32, you have 2,960. And you know that with the equilibrium, it is... I was going to say equilibrium? Never mind. We know that at the equilibrium, it's 4,200. So we've got some values here to work with. So for our consumer surplus, we have... Let me try to get out my calculator. It's over here. Ta-da! It's all very fun. So we have 32 times the height, which is just going to be 8,000 minus 5. No, that's 800. Damn, my terrible clicking. 5440. So that's that, and then we divide by 2. What a shock. We're not actually there. So we're nearly there. It's nearly 41,000, but it's not. Okay, and you will see in the question that it is not actually correct at that point. Okay, continuing. Producer surplus is characterized by this section here. This section here. Okay, so what I would do is I would calculate this triangle here, and then I would do the rectangles. That's what we're going to do. So to find the triangle, we've got 2,960 minus the 400. That's the whiteboard. Go away. Thank you. So we've got 2,960 minus the 400 times the 32 for the width, and then divide by 2. So that gives us 40,000 for that in itself. I feel like I've done something wrong here, because that's a very similar to answer to what I just got, and I'm just slightly suspicious of it. Okay, never mind. Okay, so it's 40,000. We're going to be adding this big block here, which is... Oh dear. So I need to do that, and then I need to do 5440 minus 2,960, because that gives the height. And then that is multiplied by the 32, and then I add that. So then we have 120,000, which is, again, not what it's telling us the producer surplus is. So, no. Now we have to do deadweight loss, which is calculated by essentially taking the triangle here. So you're doing Come on now. You're doing this zone. Okay? And this is just calculated by taking the width, the height, and dividing by 2. Fairly. I don't have to teach you guys like basic geometry. Like, come on now. So 5440 minus the 2960. Can't fucking speak. So that gives you that. And then you're timesing by the distance. So 32 to 48 is 16. So timesing by 16, you get that. And then you divide by 2. And hey, what do you know? The deadweight loss is 19,840. So that one it would be correct. All you need to do here is essentially just calculate it graphically. Okay? It may be a little annoying to just go through just calculating stuff, but that's kind of just what you got to do. But yeah, you'll eventually get it. Okay, that's all good. Do you need to know all the Leibniz? Let's look at them. And we'll figure it out together, won't we? You can see them. So, just for everyone, the Leibniz are the fun little math bits in the book. Math, that sounds so American. Yeah, so they're at the bottom here, I believe? Yeah. Or then, yeah, there they are. So here are all the Leibniz. Leibnizes? Leibnizes. It's all very fun. So, if I go down, yeah. So you can see on the left here, you've got all of them. First of all, no we don't, just the ones mentioned in the root maps. Yeah, Evelyn is sort of covering it in the chat. Thank you. So most of these are not essentially required, such as things like quasi-linear preferences. Something like that would not be normally required. As you can sort of see, it's a bit more of an advanced topic. Essentially think of it like this. If it was not covered in your tutorials, it's probably not going to come up. So it's basically just like think about what you're normally covering in your tutorials, what you're revising, what's being taught to you in lectures, what's actually being taught to you. That's probably going to come up. If it was not taught, it most likely will not. Okay? All right. Okay. Let me switch back to some stuff. What about questions here? Is that stuff? This was a question I saw in the chat. What about that? This question? Question 10? Is that right? Did you get that? I'm just randomly picking them. Actually, these two questions were quite hotly disputed, weren't they? Oh, God. Or did I, like, not... Is that right? Just wait. Anybody? Okay, evidently not. So, apparently, I'm guessing from the lack of attention that people don't... Okay, you think they're good. I think, like, not many people want, like, me to do that, so I'm just going to skip over it. That's alright. I do know other ones that people want, so I might come back to them later if there's sufficient demand for it. Where? There was some stuff earlier, wasn't there? Maybe that wasn't it. There was these questions, I guess. That stuff. I don't think I've done that paper actually. And then there was increasing slope, stuff like that. There's a lot of different kinds of questions, you know. What was it? No, we covered that as well. God, I'm just so I'm out of ideas. Oh God, I'm just trying to move this now. Go over there. Maybe something more in this. I saw there was another one in this test that people had trouble on, like near the start. Oh, there was this one, wasn't it? It was like this question. Lots of people like didn't quite understand what it meant. If you want me to do that one, I can do that. Hold on, let me just actually let me move that back. Where was it? Yeah, I'll just put that on the side. If you want me to do that one, just tell me. Number 9 there. Yes, please. Yes. Can you do question 8 on that paper? 9 as well. Okay, got it. I can do 8 and then I'll do 9 and then 8 actually, I think. So answers with clarification. Love how they say clarification then give none. It's all a big trick, really. Okay. Oh, I've got 10 more minutes left. Anyway, I think we're running out of questions at this point. If you guys have more questions, I could go on, but if you don't, then no. Yeah. So the figure here, you've got... No, we're not doing that first. So, this is all wrong because of a lot of reasons, and it does not explain any of them, so I think I will try to. So, market demand of a particular good is downward sloping, as we know. Based on this information, which of the following statements is a correct price-taking firm producing that good? Which of the following statements is correct regarding a price-taking firm producing that good? Okay. The curve faced by the firm is downward sloping. It is not. Why? Why is it? It's because it's flat. Because they can only produce at that level. So, essentially, like, for the market, the demand curve is downward sloping. Okay, for the market overall. But for an individual firm, you would think of the demand curve as essentially flat, because at any quantity produced, they still have to do that same price. Perfect competitive due to identical products. Not necessarily, but it is a perfectly competitive market, if we're saying that, because they all have to hit the same price. So it's a price-taking market. The firm produces the price that equals its marginal cost. Wrong, it is forced to produce that price. It doesn't choose, essentially. It's basically said, like, you have to produce at this amount or you can't. And a price-taking firm cannot be profit maximizing. Nope, they can maximize their profits. Essentially, they could reduce costs. That's completely possible. They could... There's a lot of, like, accounting procedures that you can do. But the main thing is just reducing costs needed to produce the same amount. And that's profit maximizing in a way, yeah. Hopefully that's clear. If you guys have any concerns over question 9, let me know. I will do question 8 now. By the way, I just remembered question 9 was gone over the latest practical and is explained there. Right. Okay. Well then, my explanation was useless. Damn. Alright. Based on this information, which of the following are correct? Okay, so... so what we're essentially saying here is that A is regarded as the area between the perfectly diagonal line in the Lorenz curve, and B is the area underneath. Okay, so under the 50-50 sharing system, we are essentially saying that... hold on, let me look at the entire question. I think it's that, like, yeah, so you can see that 90 farmers and 10 landowners, so you're essentially sharing 50-50 with the landowners and the farmers, and then 75-25 with farmers and landowners. So what we're essentially saying here is we want to calculate the area underneath. Okay, so for the 50-50 sharing system, it's the solid blue line. So we're going to calculate the area underneath that. So getting out the calculator, we do the area of this triangle down here, this big white one, which is going to be 90 times 50 times a half. So 2250. And then we're going to do this skinny triangle up here, which is going to be 10 across and 50 up. So 10 times 50 times the half required for the triangle. So that's going to be 2350. And then we're going to add this rectangle here, which is just 500, I believe. 500? It's 50 times 10, yeah. 500? I always feel like I'm, at any one moment, I'm always making a terrible mistake. So... yeah, you times by 0.2. Oh, did I? Well then, that's nice. Oh, God, I hate when I make mistakes like that. Okay, so it's 10 times 50 times 0.5. There it is, and then plus 500. So it's 3,000 underneath the curve. This essentially means that if it's 3,000 underneath the curve, then it's going to be 2,000 above the curve. So it works, because the entire curve is 5,000, if that wasn't kind of clear. So the entire curve is 5,000, under the line is 3,000, so above the line must be 2,000. So under the 75-25 sharing system now, let's do the calculations for that. I just need to check how much time I have. I've got 5 minutes, 22 seconds. Hopefully this I think this will have to be the last one I do. So we have 90 times 75 times by a half, because that's going to be the area underneath. So that's 3375. Then we've got this skinny triangle up here. Hold on. Yep. Then we've got plus by 10 times 25 times 0.5. No, that was 0.8. Can't type properly. So we've got 10 times 25 times 0.5. That adds the 125, which gets us the 3,500. But we've still got this big block here left. We've got this big triangle. Big rectangle. I can't name shapes correctly. This is really going badly for me, isn't it? So this is just 75 times the 10, which gets us to 4,250. So A would not be 1,500. Okay? Okay. So the Gini coefficient under the sharing system would therefore be, so we're going to do this. This is B. So 5,000 minus B, which I believe was that, is 750. So 750 over 5,000, we get 0.15. So that's the Gini coefficient under sharing. So that's how we sort of get it. Okay. I hope that was all right. Was that okay? I hope that was okay. All right, that's good. I've got like 3 more minutes. If there's a quick one that I can do, can you guys just adjust it quickly? Like I can just do one quick. And maybe some of these or something like that. Very helpful, thanks. Oh, thank you. So many different types. Oh, thank you. Oh, hold on. Mithal asks, how many marks are subtracted for getting a question wrong? Right, actually, I should probably bring this up now. So, for any given question, you have 3 options, right? So you have option A, option B, and option C. All right? If you get all 3 correct, you get 3 marks. All right? If you get 2 correct and 1 wrong, you get 1.5 marks. If you get 2 wrong, you get 0 marks. If you get all 3 wrong, you get negative 1.5 marks. Okay? This is basically that for every question there's a negative 0.5 if you get it wrong, but if you get the other ones right, you get the 1 mark. Okay? The one thing that this does not apply for is the matching sentences questions, where you were given essentially a sentence with multiple options, and then it's like stuff in it that you have to fill in. For that one, are there questions where all the options are wrong? Yes. There are questions where you can have everything right or everything wrong. Okay? Any question can be right or wrong. Okay? It's not that there's a requirement that each question has to have at least 1 right answer or at least 1 wrong answer or anything like that. Anything can be anything it wants. So what I was saying was that when you've got these matching words to sentences questions, something like this, okay, you only get the mark if you get it all right. Okay? If all of them are right, you get 3 marks. If they're not all right, you get 0. That's the main thing. That's the only difference here. Otherwise, it's the negative marking system. Okay. Any more questions about stuff and exams and things? I've got like 1 minute and 26 seconds left, so yeah. Just gonna wait. We're trying to convince the staff to remove the negative marking or at least make it 0 point. I don't know. See, there is a distinct advantage to negative marking. As much as we pretty much hate it, and to be honest, I do pretty much hate it, it essentially prevents guessing. Because if you were to guess, you would get something around 1/3 of the marks, which would at least put you up to a pass. But if negative marking is instituted, then just guessing won't get you anywhere. In fact, it will fail you. So it's sort of rewarding knowledge of the subject, which in a way is quite effective. It does, decrease your mark in the long run, but I mean, I see why they're instituting it. And plus, I don't think the econ reps could really kind of change their mind too much about that. We can't really do that much. How many questions are there again? There are 15 with 3 sub-questions. Okay, I think that's going to have to be the last question. I think I'm about to go off. Hope you guys have a nice test tomorrow. And yeah, good luck. All right? Thank you. Bye. Well, this is the end of the recording. That lasted an hour, didn't it? Yeah. Okay. End the chat. Bye. Okay. My lord, that was a long one. Hello, YouTube. I'm back. You see my clutter thing. All right. Hope that was helpful. And yeah, see you guys next time.